Hey friend, Graham here at recordingrevolution.com, and today let's do a mastering shootout. All right, here's what I want to do. Very simple. I don't want to go too much in depth. I just want to give you a taste of what different mastering approaches can give you. Specifically, what we're going to look at is the difference between just throwing a limiter on your final mix to get the volume you want, compare that with some pro mastering, and then compare that with auto mastering online, which is becoming more popular. So specifically, we're going to look at one of my songs off my recent EP because it's a great example of being able to see all three. And I want you to hear the difference that all three did. So I have three examples of my master here for one of the songs. And the first track in green is what I'm calling the limiter track. And this is where I took my final mix that I did here in my home studio, and I just put a limiter on it. I use one of my favorite limiters. It's just Ozone, and it's version 5, so it's even an old version of Ozone, but I just put on the Ozone limiter. I have lots of good limiters, but I just picked one because it's relatively common, a lot of people know about. And I just did a little bit so that the peaks were seeing maybe 2 to 3 dB of gain reduction on the loud parts of this song, and it brought up the level. So this is basically my final mix with some level. Okay, and then this purple track here in the middle is the actual Pro Master. This is the actual version on my EP right now on Never Satisfied. And this was done by one of my good friends, Ian Shepard, who runs productionadvice.co.uk. Great blog on all things mastering, loudness wars, dynamics. He is one of the greatest minds in that space right now. And he's a professional mastering engineer and has a really awesome British accent. So I love listening to him. He's become a good friend of mine. And he was very kind enough to master this EP. So this second track is his professional master. And by that, I mean he took the tracks from me, my final mixes, listened to them, ran them through very specific EQing and compression and limiting and all kinds of stuff, mid-side processing on a case-by-case basis using human ears reacting to the song in a human way, the way a mastering engineer would. And then the final track here in red is the version from LANDR. Okay, if you're familiar with any kind of online mastering, LANDR is very popular. You can literally take your mix and upload it to their website, and the computer algorithm will listen to your song, apply processing to it based off of what it hears, based off of the type of genre it hears, and do a master for you. So it's a robo-master, okay? A computer's doing this for you based off of a bunch of information that's been programmed by their programmers and an algorithm. And so what I thought I would do, instead of doing a long write-up about which is best, I just thought I'd let you determine. You take a listen. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got all three literally just pulled into a session, and I've got the same section of the song. And what I want to do is just play a loop of it, as it were, with all three. Make a comment about what I'm hearing, and you can listen to what you hear, and then we'll go back and I'm just going to press play from this section of the song to the end and just swap between the three. I have the solo mode so that it would literally just pick one every time I click it, and you can hear the differences in all three, and we will discuss what we hear. They do sound very different, so hopefully you're on good monitors or on good headphones. They do sound different. Remember, the first one is just my mix with a limiter. The second one is the Pro Master by my buddy Ian. And the third one is the Robo Automatic Master from LANDR. Let's take a listen to just the limiter version.
All I need is a little bit more. All I need is a little bit more. And all I need is a little bit more of a little bit more of a little bit more.
All right, and then here is the Pro Master from Ian.
All I need is a little bit more. All I need is a little bit more. And all I need is a little bit more of a little bit more of a little bit more. All I need is just a little bit more than I've been given.
And here is the LANDR Master from online.
All I need is a little bit more. All I need is a little bit more.
very interesting. I think you hear a huge difference with that last one. Let me press play, and what I want to do is then not interrupt you. I want to just press play, and I'm going to switch between each one, and I'll highlight each one so you know which one I'm clicking on, and hear the distinct differences, and then we'll discuss at the end here. Here we go, starting with just my mix with a limiter on it, and I'll cycle through without interrupting. Here we go.
All I need is a little bit more. All I need is a little bit more. And all I need is a little bit more of a little bit more of a little bit more. All I need is just a little bit more than I've been given. I don't believe in settling for what I am, and I could have all I imagine. Oh, all I need is just a little bit more than I've been given. I don't believe in settling for what I am, and I could have all I imagine. I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied.
Wow, very, very interesting. So I'm hearing these back to back to back, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, if the limiter version of my mix is the bass line, okay, sounds fine. Maybe I cut to Ian's master, and I hear, I think, more clarity in the guitars. There was, you know, there's some mid range on my guitars that I didn't like as much. And I noticed that once I heard Ian's master, that I liked what he did to the guitars in a lot of ways better. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that cleaned him up, and there's a little more clarity on his master. Then you get to the LANDR master, and there's way more low end, right? That was the biggest thing I noticed, is way more thick bottom end. And that's very interesting. I was surprised. Maybe it's a stylistic thing. Maybe it's part of their algorithm. But whatever it heard, it decided that my mix needed more bottom. And it was thick and juicy. And that's the biggest difference. You go back to my limiter version after the LANDR, and it sounds like it's really lacking in low end. But when I go from Ian's Pro Master to the LANDR, it sounds like there's almost too much low end. So it's interesting that the Robo Master brought up more bottom end and kind of tamed the sizzle up top. Ian has a lot more crispy top end in a relatively balanced way. And my limiter version is okay. I mean, again, it's just my mix with a limiter on it. It is the mix, and these other two have been taking the mix with EQ and saturation and other things and actually done more work on it than just a limiter. So there's massive differences. Real quick, let's just do a shorter version of that one last time so you can get it in your head. I'm going to start with the LANDR version here.
All I need is a little bit more. All I need is a little bit more. And all I need is a little bit more of a little bit more of a little bit more. All I need is just a little bit more than I've been given. I don't believe in settling for what I am, and I could have all I imagine. All I need is...
There you have it. So here's what I would like you to do. I would like to get a conversation going. Would you leave a comment below this video and let me know which one sounded better to you? Just my mix with a limiter on it, the Pro Master, the one that's actually mastered by a human, or the LANDR Master. Now, don't bash on one over the other. Just literally comment below and tell us which one to your ears sounded like the best representation of that song. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. People are going to disagree. That's what's incredible about this craft, is it's entirely subjective. But here are 3 representations of the song. Let us know below the video which one you prefer. I'd love to see anecdotally what people are picking. And I'd love to see you all get into a conversation about why you like what you like and what surprised you about Ian's Pro Master of my mix compared to just the limiter on my mix. And then what surprised you about the LANDR Master of the mix. Now, keep in mind a couple things. Different mastering engineers are going to master things differently, depending on what they hear. Different mixes sound different. Different limiters sound different. LANDR even will sound different. You even have options to change the intensity on the mastering on LANDR. There's even other solutions online for mastering, like eMastered, another one that I've used. There's all kinds of tools out there that will do things slightly differently. These aren't the only ways to do it. But what I wanted you to hear was, what are the options for mastering? Just put a limiter on your track that can give you the loudness you need. That is step number 1. That's a great step if that's all you can do. Hiring a pro mastering engineer is one option as well. The online mastering with LANDR or eMastered. Of course, you can even self-master. So leave a comment. Let the discussion begin. If you like these videos, subscribe to them as well so you'll know what is coming up next. That is all for today. Can't wait to see your comments. I will see you on another video soon.